Right, welcome back in another of the OMG It's Core Chemistry series, and today we're going to talk about the periodic table. So to get started, we're going to talk about some basic facts about the periodic table. Okay, so this is just quite an outline of the periodic table. It shows all the elements arranged based on their atomic number. Okay, the vertical columns down are called groups, and then across they are called periods. If you're in the same group, you share similar properties, whether it's you dissolve in water, you can react quite well with oxygen, you have high or low melting points. So if you're in this group, you tend to have the same properties. So each group has the similar properties. The rows are called periods. There's only 2 in period 1. Okay, so often when you start looking at period 2, it might be easy to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then helium and hydrogen, the only 2 in period 1. Okay, everything this side then is a metal, and then by this zigzag by here, that's what we call the metalloids. Okay, so they've got metal and non-metal properties, and then you've got your non-metals over here. Okay, the zigzag line separates the metals on the left from the non-metals. Hydrogen is a non-metal but is often put in the middle. So you need to know the properties of metals, non-metals and metalloids. So metals, good conductors of electricity and heat. They're often shiny, lustrous, so they're shiny when they're cut. The majority of metals share properties: high melting point, hard, difficult to scratch or break, but they can be bent, malleable into shape, ductile, can be pulled through wires, copper. Non-metals then, on the other hand, have low melting and boiling points. When non-metals are in the solid state, they're usually brittle, so they can't be bent into shape, they'll just break. Metalloids then are elements between metals and non-metals in the periodic table and have properties which are a mixture of both metals and non-metals. And then the other thing you kind of need to know when using the periodic table is testing for ions. Okay, so you have to know the flame tests. So a little bit of a method for flame tests: clean moistened flame wire is dipped into a solid sample of the compound. It is then put on the edge of a blue Bunsen burner flame, not yellow because it would give you wrong results. The flame colour indicates what metal ion is present in the compound. So they're compounds, they've just got metals in them. So you've got red for lithium, yellow orange for sodium, lilac for potassium, brick red for calcium, and apple green for barium. Okay, so that's testing for metals. So they might be like lithium chloride, so you just want to test for metal maybe. Halide ions then, so group 7, are detected using silver nitrate solutions. You add a few drops of dilute nitric acid, which makes it acidified, and then you add the silver nitrate. Okay, if it's chlorine, it'll form a white precipitate, and you must remember to include the word precipitate. Bromine is cream and iodine is yellow. And then finally, testing for the gases. So oxygen, relight a glowing splint. Hydrogen, lit splint, squeaky pop. Do not write squeaky pop test, it's got to be lit splint, squeaky pop. Carbon dioxide then, bubbles of carbon dioxide will turn lime water cloudy. Sometimes with carbon dioxide they'll say it's the carbonate test. So with a carbonate, you've got to add the acid first, add acid, and then you'll get bubbles of carbon dioxide. So a bit of a knowledge check now. Okay, try the answers, pause the video, and then if you get them all right, move on. But let's just check now. So I'll pause it, have a go at the answers. So which 2 elements are in period 1? That's hydrogen and helium. Is group 1 a metal or a non-metal? It's a metal. It's on the left. Group 6 is a non-metal. It's on the right. So they tend to have high melting and boiling points. Malleable, so they can be bent into shape. Ductile. Some of them can conduct electricity. So there's a couple of examples there. They tend to have low melting and boiling points, often brittle. They're often gases at room temp as well, whereas metals tend to be solid. Not all of them, but that's kind of just a little bit of a distinction there. How would you confirm a compound is potassium bromide? So potassium, you do a flame test, and it should give you a lilac flame. Bromide, you do a silver nitrate test, and it should give you a cream precipitate. How would I confirm I have a carbonate? You add acid, and then you bubble the CO2 that's produced, so bubble CO2 through lime water. So bubble the CO2 through lime water and then it should turn cloudy. Okay, so if you got them all right, move on to the next video. If you didn't, go back and have another go.